and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Martini?
Here.
Grant?
Here.
Jennings?
Here.
Snyder?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
All right. I guess make a motion to excuse Ed, Rob, and Dave.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, agenda additions. Anybody have anything to add? I was gonna add one thing. I want to add a discussion on, we talked about doing this safety session,
Yeah.
so we need to add that. So I guess we'll just add a continuing business, maybe as a first line item above A, with just this safety session at the boat launch.
Okay.
Anything else added?
No, everything.
Good?
Yep.
All right, motion to approve agenda as amended.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Okay, approval of the meeting minutes. I wasn't here for it, so I can't vouch for it. But I guess you guys,
I was not here for it.
you and I have read it.
I wasn't either. I was here and they looked great.
All right, perfect.
I did look them over, but that was about it. I wasn't here.
Okay. So I guess motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I move we approve the meeting minutes
Okay.
as written.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, cool, done. All right, so we have call of the public, and this is not the, we'll come back to the board applicants, so this is for things outside of board applicants, which,
I'm a public, I'm withdrawing. I'm Jerry Schwab. He and I talked.
yeah,
He's had all kinds of experiences that you're after. You want somebody to pump the water, you want somebody to clean your, I'm a retired engineer, but I don't have the experience he has. I'll be back.
okay. Listen,
withdrawn.
yeah, so we'll hear you both out anyway, and we'll hear you both out anyway, and with that said, we always need people, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm next in line.
Yeah, we'll hear you both out, so we'll just close the call to the public. All right, so the next is new business, which is board applicants. So it's James and Gerald here, we've got applications here. So I guess, so the way this works, we obviously have one spot open, 2 applicants, we just had the conversation here, but pretty informal. We'll have you just come up here, tell us your name, we'll ask some questions, super informal, and then we'll do that for both of you, and then we'll make a motion to add or not add, and then go from there. So pretty easy. So why don't you come on up here and give us a 2-second download, and then we'll just ask some questions.
All right, my name is Jim Sparks. I live at 2445 Ethel Drive. Moved here 3 years ago. Saw that you were looking for a water board seat. I'm a science teacher in Clausa. I've been a science teacher for 30 years. What made me interested is for 10 years I worked with the Rouge River Recovery, where we would go to the Rouge River and do water testing. So I was very interested in that, like assessing water quality and the health of the river at the time. And then part of the reason I moved to Wolverine Lake is I'm an avid sportsman, fisherman. Kids love swimming in it. I think the biggest asset we have here at our community is the lake. So if I'm going to have an impact on the community I live in, what better way than to be involved with our greatest asset, the lake.
Cool. All right, as far as just time commitment type stuff, obviously the board meets once a month, but it does require some time outside of that for initiatives and stuff like this that we're working on generally. The time commitment, not a problem?
Nope, the only time like I'm really busy after school is I coach football at Novi. I'm the head football coach at Novi, so during the fall, like I have practice like 6, and obviously game days, Thursday and Fridays, I'm pretty busy.
Okay.
But other than that, like summer as a teacher, I'm off. I'm actually eligible to retire, so, you know,
You
my
can- you
wife
can-
is into it. I will be retiring in June. She's having second thoughts. But I'm going to continue to coach, hopefully. They have a law on the books that's causing a little issue with that. I don't know if you're aware of that, but plan on still coaching, but time commitment is not an
But
issue.
third Wednesday of the month?
Wednesdays are not an issue. We don't play games on Wednesdays, so even in the fall, I would be free.
Okay, excellent, cool. And usually we ask how you use the lake and stuff like this. You already said
you would-
fishing, et
It's like,
cetera.
I'm a little mad it didn't freeze. I only got one day of ice fishing, so if as a board we can rectify that,
Yeah. Sure.
You were that guy.
I was.
Yeah. All right. I guess, anybody have questions?
I'm just curious.
Sure.
And you're testing in the Rouge River. Can you just tell me about that?
It was actually really cool. Like we would take, I would take 130 students to a branch of the river in Birmingham, and we would do everything from dissolved oxygen to nitrates, phosphates, and then what was real interesting is we taught them how to assess the quality of the water through microinvertebrates. So like, you know, they would tip over rocks and they would use nets to scoop out like the different types of larvae in there. And then like what was real cool is a lot of time the microinvertebrates were more accurate than the chemical test because certain larvae need more oxygen and things like that. So if you're finding a certain type, it indicates the water was super healthy. You know, other years we would go there and we'd just find like leeches and things, and that was a pretty bad sign. And the branch of the river we went at, it was right by Corton Lake on 15 Mile. So the biggest pollutant we had there was like phosphates from people's lawns. You know, it would create like algal blooms and
Yep.
raise the temperature of the water. So, you know, we helped clean out as much of like the decaying leaves and things like that in our area, which like robbed it of the dissolved oxygen, and you know, it was great. Like the kids would perform all the tests, you know, and like I was just there to facilitate it and, you know, help out, put the waders on and dig the scum out of the water. Basically,
Grab some-
I got
grab
to
some
do all the
leaf
not,
piles.
yeah, I got to do the not fun stuff, and the kids did all the fun stuff. But yeah, we did that. We did that for like 10 years, and then you know, we had some retirements in the science department at my school, and it was just too big of an undertaking to do with one person. So, you know, we went into something else. Like we got involved with the DNR, and we did some salmon fisheries. Like they sent us coolant tanks and everything, and they would send us like fingerling salmon. We would raise them in the classroom and then release them. So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Cool. We kind of a standard question we ask, even though it sounds a little weird, but any specific agenda or things you're coming to to the board for?
Not really. Just like I said, like the lake is probably the main reason I moved here. So just to be up to date with like what's going on with the lake and, you know, the health of the lake, the way the lake is managed, and, you know, things like that. And like I said, like, you know, I lived in Clawson for 30 years and was a teacher in the community and was a coach in the community. So like I felt like I was contributing to that, and, you know, no real big selfish reason other than I believe if you're going to live in a community, you should try to add to it the best you can. And my interest in the lake just fostered the interest of being here.
Cool.
Like I said, other than like having it freeze more, like that.
And this is
Sure.
just out of my own curiosity. You've done the testing, you're a science teacher. Do you come in with the knowledge of how to do things that would improve?
A little bit, like
health?
like where I live like on Ethel, which is right at that little tiny canal at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, I've taken some of the water from there to my classroom and ran some of the tests.
Yeah.
And like, we are pretty deprived of dissolved oxygen in that area because all the wind predominantly blows everything that direction. So like that little canal
Okay.
there, like all the leaves that fall in that bay there ultimately end up. So like there's literally, probably by my estimate, like I've stuck a broomstick in there, there's like 4 feet of
Muck.
just muck from like leaves and debris. So every time like that, like decays, like
Yeah.
it takes away the dissolved oxygen and it raises the temperature of the water.
Yeah.
So like that's not good for, you know, the larvae that the fish feed on, the desirable aquatic plants. They need more dissolved oxygen. So what you get is you get more of the algal blooms, you know, some of the undesirable seaweed that like I'm sure we all pick out of our props.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and I was saying like if my canal is like that, our lake is so shallow. I would imagine like that dissolved oxygen issue would be something like we should probably look into. You know, if we
Yeah.
want. So that is something like since I moved in, like I have taken on myself. You know, and especially this time of year when the dam is down.
Right.
Like the water is almost out of there, so you can just walk out there, and it's crazy. We play hockey in there. And because of all that decaying leaves,
Yeah.
there's no ice. Like if you shoot your puck past the goal and you try to skate to get it, you break right through
my
because the temperature of that decay
high.
prevents it from freezing.
Yeah. We've had a couple of announcements trying to encourage people to make sure that leaves that get down on the shoreline get picked up.
Well, we try, like me and my neighbors there, like we try to get the rakes, you know, and scoop as much as you can, but like it's you know, as soon as you get it out and you bag it and you get rid of it, you turn around and, well, not to get off track, but in the 3 years I've lived here, I've had a tree hit my house twice, like bad, like $60,000 worth of damage this time, 48 the first time. So I have no more trees in my yard, like they've all fallen down. So my leaf contribution is like gradually diminished. Like I have no more trees.
You took care of
I have no more shade, but
Yeah.
and I got a new deck because it wiped it off my house and a new seawall too. But
Jesus.
yeah,
All right.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, the good news is
Pretty much
like,
all
I
the
don't have
trees
to worry
over
about a
there
tree
got
hitting my
wiped
house
out.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insurance company must love you too.
No, I have to go to a zoning board meeting next Tuesday for a variance on my deck. So
Build it too big, did we?
I built it the exact same size.
Well, the last guy built it too big.
Apparently, that's another story. But
Okay.
anyway, I
So
don't want to
just-
take up your time.
We'll stick on topic.
Yeah, I don't want to get off your
Planning
time.
Commission. All right. Cool. Any other questions for Jim here? I think I'm good. Good. All right.
Thank you so much.
very much.
Thank you.
All right.
You really want to?
Yeah, come on up.
do, yeah,
Yes.
come on.
Yes.
I'm Jerry Schloff.
All right.
I'm a retired consulting engineer, mechanical mostly. I got an electrical degree too, but don't.
I
ask
also
me
am
anything
mechanical engineer.
electrical. Huh?
I said I also am a mechanical engineer.
Oh, very good. See, we got, oh, then hire me. No, I don't want to be. No, I've lived on the lake for 22 years, Lakeview, the south end of the lake, obviously.
Yeah.
He went to school with my daughter.
Crazy.
I used to tutor in his classroom, believe it or not.
Oh, my
Right,
God.
Danny Smith?
I'm not in here, I'm next door.
Oh, next door, okay. I live on the lake. I like the lake. What do I do on the lake? I put my pontoon boat in the spring, and I take it out in the fall, and my brother-in-law uses for tiki night. And my main thing is, I got a beautiful view, and I get up in the morning, and I say, oh, thank you, God. I'm not a religious person, but it's beautiful. That's it. I'm retired. I would, is ex officio a proper term? If I can help you guys without being a board member, I'll do it. If you get another, if you hire me, then the heck with it. No, hire's the wrong word. Anyway. And when I get nervous, I try to be jocular, you can tell. So I withdraw my application.
No, we'll keep your application
Yeah,
in
please.
file
Please
for
do,
now.
Please do,
Absolutely.
please do. And like I say, if you need something done, yeah, I can do it without being a board member, I think. Although
Yeah,
I read,
listen, we look for volunteers all the time.
I read through 2 years of your meeting minutes, and I'm not sure that, man, you guys have a heavy load.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of stuff going on. But like I said, we're always looking for volunteers. We're going to talk about some safety stuff we're going to try and do, and we always are looking for people to help out, so.
Yeah. Sewer sads keeping on going.
Yep. Yeah, we got stuff going on, so. Okay, I guess, same kind of question, but it sounds like the answer is no, but any specific agenda as to why you'd want to join the board for, anything,
I
something
was
specific?
on the ZBA in Clausen, I was on the Park and Recs here.
Mhm.
I live in a community, I was chairman of the Clausen Parade for 2 years.
All right.
Amazing parade. See?
Yep.
I volunteer at schools, I'm, like I said, I'm a consulting engineer, I never really felt comfortable when I really knew what I was doing. Does that make sense? I quit a job because I know what I'm doing. This is no fun anymore. So I like investigating things. All I can tell you, as you age, no offense, you lose that curiosity. But I watch YouTube lots and lots. Let's see. Yeah. If she lets me, I'm going home right now.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Jerry? Any other questions for Jerry? No. Okay. Well,
All right.
thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck, man.
Okay.
Pleasure seeing you. Tell Lynn I said hello.
All right, so I guess we could, anybody have a motion to, I guess I'll make the motion to add Jim Sparks, recommend adding Jim Sparks to the Water Management Board.
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, maybe we got to do roll call vote on this one, I'm sorry. So
yeah.
roll call vote.
So that was your motion, and then was that Jennings who seconded?
Yes.
Okay. Martini,
Aye.
Jennings,
Aye.
Brandt,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Garris.
Yeah, and we'll definitely keep your application, and we have everything, so you won't have to come back and
In the
do all
budget.
this. With that said, like, we're always looking for people. We do have some turnover, so, I mean, I'd love to have you participate. So we'll keep you on the list for sure.
ZBA's got it, but I'd rather do this.
Yeah,
He's retired.
Sorry.
Nothing better to do.
He's got time.
Help other people.
hey, listen, that's a great way to use your time, so
Yes.
I appreciate the interest.
Yes.
For Jim, basically what happens is we just make the recommendation, council actually adds to the board. So the council meeting is in a couple weeks. I think they follow the first week of the month or something like this.
Yep.
So it would go there. You have to sign some stuff. You don't have to go to the council meeting, I don't believe. I think you could drop in the village and take care of the paperwork, or you go to the council meeting, they kind of swear you in. And then we meet the third Wednesday of the month, so we'd meet again in a month. So feel free to hang out, you don't have to. We'll go from there. All right?
Tell her she has to leave, okay?
I won't do that. But it's open, the board is open to the public.
Yes.
Okay, so cool, thanks for that. All right, so the next thing on the agenda is the recommendation to council regarding renewal of operating agreement for the boat wash. So did you guys see that?
Yes.
So I think this is literally just a permit to say we can continue having the boat wash there. Not that we've maintained it, but I feel like we're looking at stuff, although I don't know if we're gonna change anything. I feel like we should at least just keep the permit open. It doesn't hurt. It gives us the flexibility to do whatever we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think it's a significant fee. Let me just double check. I thought they were gonna have it printed out, but it's not here. Did you guys get a chance to review it?
Yeah, I think
looking
that's
at
pretty much what you said. It's, they want to know that we're going to keep the boat, keep it, or we're going to ditch it.
Just a permit shall grant the use of the premise for 5 additional years, basically from February 29th, 2023 to the 28th, 2028. So it's just, if we want to keep it there, which I think we should just do the permit, it's not a big deal, and then we can figure out how we want to maintain it or change it. But if we don't do this, then we got to get rid of it, so at least this will give us the opportunity.
Yeah, it always comes up as something that we want to try to be able to do. We can't quite figure out how to hook that worm as far as getting people to use it the way they ought to, but
Yep.
maybe someday, if we come up with a formula that works, if it's not there, we can't, So I agree with you. Just
Okay, so I guess I'll make a motion to renew the operating agreement for the boat wash at the boat launch.
I second.
Seconded by Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Easy peasy. All right, administrator report. I didn't get anything from the admin. I unfortunately, I did have questions for him, and I sent them to him tonight. So obviously, I can't expect him to answer that. So I didn't get anything specific from David. Couple things. Go current lake level. It's still super low intentionally. So we're 17.6 inches down, which is quite a lot. I didn't check to see if we closed the gates yet. But they lowered it extra this year in order to enable the repair down on Penny Lake.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's done or not. One of the questions I asked the admin is if that's done and if we got the gates closed. So usually around this time, we're supposed to be talking about how we want to manage bringing the lake up and recapturing some of the ice melts. There is no ice melts to be captured though. So, as soon as the repair work is done, I think they'll just close the gate and start bringing stuff back up. Temperature is 43.5 degrees at 5 feet deep. Okay, noteworthy complaints from the village. I've got nothing. Anybody have anything? No. Okay. It's not warm enough.
Not the season.
No.
Not warm enough for complaints yet.
No.
Yeah. The only complaint we had is not enough ice fishing.
Yeah.
And I hear that because I play a lot of hockey behind my house, and I only skated 3 times this year.
There's no 2 a.m. snowmobiles either.
No, not a single snowmobile all year.
Yeah.
Not that I saw, at least. I didn't see one.
Saw a motorcycle.
Did you?
I saw that.
Well, I was out fishing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I basically made it out there Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, and then not again until like last weekend or like, the very last day it was possible. But I think it's done. Super mild.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to key date calendar review. Let me just pull some of that up. So February types of stuff I have documented for us here, right? First is the ice melt strategy, which there's no strategy to talk about, but this was intent to bring lake level up, kind of close the sluice gates to capture some of the ice melt.
Yeah.
But too little, too late on that. Verify operators are available for the harvester. I reached out to David on that, just to make sure that we have people. I think we did a really good job with it last year. We got a ton of hours on it. We had plenty of operators to run it, so it's just a matter of verifying that's the case. I contacted David again. Unfortunately, I did it on my way home from work today, so didn't get an answer. But I'm sure it's staffed. And then the next piece is going to be about the safety session, which we can just cover in continuing business. The next thing we got coming up, I don't have anything in March, April. We start talking about treatment of the canal before the May restriction. So if you recall, we did that last year. It worked out really well.
Yes.
Another thing, I'll just kind of review lessons learned from last year and the year previous. We talked about, I had a note in here very specifically from 2 years ago saying mild winter caused early growth of algae, and COVID at the time had caused a late first survey. So we had a super mild winter this year. So I think we'll just reach out to Paul, make sure he's got a plan to get out here early, and also get the canal treated early. Let me just see. If you recall last year, so they changed the rules for copper, and you can't use it in May. So we talked about redoing the April treatment in the canals specifically.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have Paul out here next month, which will be timely. We can just make sure he's got a plan to do something in April for the canals. March. Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff? Just kind of things that, just a running list of stuff that I try and make sure we at least are aware of. All right. Next thing, continuing business, the safety session. So we talked about this before we broke for the winter here about rebooting up that safety thing at the boat dock. You guys remember this conversation? We did budget. Let me just tell you what we budgeted for this. Budget for '23. Budgeted up to $1,000, which is going to be would be more than enough because we generally would get a bunch of matches. So I've never actually participated or planned this thing before, I'm pretty sure nobody here today has.
No.
Conceptually, it's an event that goes on by the boat launch, right? Talking about boat safety, talking about some fishing stuff. Ed talked, has brought up having, lessons on anything from tying a fishing knot to a boat knot to, how to properly fuel your boat and all this other stuff. So we talked about wanting to do it. We generally would want to probably do something like that in May, which means we got to get on it and get people assigned to kind of pull that together. We probably would have to reach out to the community, reach out to businesses here. I'm sure the bait shop would be in on helping out. I believe you were the safety person on the board, so I'm going to start with you and your thoughts.
So, you were saying about the bait shop helping out. What have they done in the past?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
saying we probably would want to go to local businesses and say, here's what we're thinking. Do you want to contribute anything? Do you want to, they can do
Do you have them sponsor it, are you saying?
No, so I think we could, I wasn't actually part of the original ones, but my understanding was that they have a bunch of different stations set up around the boat launch, right?
Yeah.
And people can either donate stuff for it, if we want to do some kind of demo associated with, I don't know, just a lesson on tying various fishing knots. Like
Okay.
maybe they can do something with that or something.
Okay.
Now, that's not safety related, right? The whole
Right.
scope of it is supposed to be around safety, so we'd be talking
But it's
about...
something to grab people.
Yeah, we want to talk about, if we were to jot down like ideas, obviously we'd want to be talking about proper life jacket usage,
Right.
right? Talking about, that you need the specific life jacket for young kids, right? Which is almost impossible to find because I've been through that before. But we'd probably want something that's like a life jacket station. The safety stuff,
Boater
important.
safety.
Right, what did it say?
Boater safety.
Yeah, obviously, boater safety, if you have boater safety, that we have boater safety classes, we could just literally be talking about when the boater safety classes are,
Right.
boater safety pamphlet, stuff like that. We could be talking about,
Do you remember when the boater safety classes were?
yeah, boater safety, we'll go in 1 second. Boater safety is generally end of April. April 30th is what I wrote here. But there's a second one in May 15th, around May 15th, right? So if this was a May type thing, we could be talking about the boater safety course on the 15th.
Okay.
Then, like I said, educational stuff at the beginning. We'd be talking about how to tie up your boat properly. Tying, I think what we want to do is poll the community, right? Get on Facebook and stuff and see what ideas people come up with, right? But we'd want to make sure that things like, and we could talk to the chief, certainly said he would contribute, right? Talk about boater safety, life jackets, typical safety stuff, and then have some educational, and then you could have some fun stuff for people that, if they bring kids, whatever. So if we want to do it, we do have $1,000 to spend on it. Generally, I guess Ed basically says it usually costs like $300 because everything gets donated.
Right.
So
Free hot dogs.
free hot
We'll
dogs.
get people there.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to say something, you can say something.
You covered it
Okay.
just after it was.
Free hot dogs?
Wrote,
Oh yeah,
not.
yeah. How to tie knots.
Oh.
Yep.
A couple of boats floating on the lake because people were familiar with the figure eight.
Yeah. 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 And like I said, we could build a sample thing and say, here's how to tie a boat. It sounds crazy, but I mean, some people
Yeah.
just put the loop around the cleat and the boat floats away. My neighbor does that all the time.
Oh, right.
Well, and didn't, I think when we had the bait shop conversation, wasn't there a thought about perhaps they put together a brochure that shows like no wake zones and, a little map?
Mhm.
Here's fishing areas where, street ends and that sort of stuff.
I don't know.
Okay. I thought I saw that somewhere. I'll see if I can dig that back.
Okay, so I guess what do you guys want to do? How do you want to do this? I think it'd be a good thing to bring back. I honestly don't know how much I'll be able to contribute to it, but I can, we could split it up. We can try and coordinate one station
Yeah.
that we're talking about, or try and, I think getting people volunteered from the community is the easiest way to get it going, right? So
Right.
probably first just
Yeah.
getting something on Facebook, say, here's what we're talking about. The concept is setting up some kind of stations. If you're interested in setting up a station and talking about something, reach out, right?
Right.
And then we could start, it's gonna be way more effective if we get more people in the community in it, right?
I think
Um,
if we're talking about the boat wash too and the re-signing the permit, that could be a good opportunity.
Say, here's what this is here for.
Yeah, to just show people how to use it. And I've
Right.
had a job that's done that in the past and kids love it.
Yeah,
So as long as there's obviously an adult holding it
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
acting like they're helping clean the boat, but
You got a
if it's
station
there
on
and
shore,
working,
do
I
boat
feel like
wash.
people are more willing to use it on their own.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
And actually seeing them do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So yeah, I can put something on the Facebook, the Wolverine Lake Facebook, and have some people reach out to me. And then, do we want to finalize the date now, just so I can?
let me just see a couple of things here. So, boater safety, first treatment, first day of harvester. And we do have a boater safety course on May 15th. I think, I think we were talking about May timeframe, but I feel like you'd get more people if you did it later, to be honest. I don't know, but like I said, we could try and target something like mid-May or beginning of June, if we wanted to. I also think it'd be cool if we had the operator for the harvester out there and had people explain what the harvester was and how it actually works and stuff. That'd probably be
Harvester
pretty cool.
rides.
No.
Garden.
That's right.
I think a thing about the harvester and some like high-level discussion every, 20 minutes, just say, okay, here's how it works and blah, 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 they could, we could talk about something like that.
Don't let the kids ride down the conveyor.
Just have it like a hayride.
The harvester goes in,
A seaweed ride.
yeah, the harvester's running beginning of June. We could try and see around that time. So I would say, let's make sure there's no holidays or something.
Yeah.
Are there holidays in May that I don't recall?
Mother's Day,
Yeah,
right?
it's the 29th.
Is that May?
Memorial Day's the 29th.
We don't want to do it
So
on.
probably that weekend,
We don't wanna-
27th would not be a good weekend.
So we probably want to do it before Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Right, before, does it make sense to do it before Memorial Day,
yeah,
right?
but not on Mother's Day, because that's the 14th.
Mother's Day's the 14th, which
Yes.
is, what day of the week is that?
That's a Sunday, and Cinco de Mayo's the 5th.
So, we should do it on Saturday, I would think,
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, I would too.
So we could do it the day before, 13th?
Yeah.
That makes sense? You want to try and talk about
Mother's Day is when?
the 14th?
Yeah, Mother's Day the 14th.
Or we could do it on the 20th. When was Memorial Day?
Memorial Day's 29th, so yeah, 20th, hasn't anything around it.
Yeah, because the boat launch shouldn't be a zoo either on the 20th, right? You don't want to
Right.
do it around when everybody's trying to get their boats in.
Yeah.
I would say 13th or 20th.
Okay.
What do you guys want to say? At least as a target, this can flex. Do we want to say the 13th, and if stuff is going disastrously, we'll move to 20th?
Yeah. Well, are there anybody here that would think
20th.
that the 14th would be an impediment?
What's the 14th is Mother's
Mother's
Day?
Day, yeah.
So let's do the 20th.
We could do 20th first, and if that doesn't work for the city, then bump the 13th.
Okay, so let's
So-
think about this.
20th would be number one, and
Number
then
one
if we,
choice, and then the 13th would be the,
13th is the backup.
I'm thinking, yeah.
So how do we actually want to kind of mobilize this thing? Because I think you'll get some volunteers, hopefully. I think we should divvy out some stuff. If we're going to make it happen, we can at least say you're responsible for doing something. So we could get with the police chief, right?
Yeah.
So one thing would be getting with the police chief and seeing what they're going to do. I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll get with the police chief, which I don't know if that's going to cover life jackets, but I would prefer him to cover life jackets.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I can cover knots and stuff. Let's just say knots and stuff. Come up with some kind of demo for knots and stuff. And that's either me doing it or finding somebody else to do it.
Also,
You want to figure out a boat wash thing? Okay, Melissa?
what I can do too is when I post on the
Wash.
Woodland Lake group,
Ask for volunteers on all of it.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or ideas that are not these as well. If somebody has
Right.
some cool, like, we need to think about probably some kid thing, some stuff that's fun for kids.
Right.
Chalk.
Huh?
Chalk.
Chalk, sidewalk chalk.
Decorate the boat launch.
Snyder, you're on hot dogs.
I'm on hot dogs.
You're on food.
Okay.
Easy.
I might be able to get a hold of a bounce house sign.
You want to contact the village, see if they're willing to do some harvester education thing as part of it?
Harvester.
Eric is on harvester. Harvester ed. Maybe they'll do something. We'll see. Let's see what they can do. So let's take it in email. If you post something, I'll probably see it. Try and get some names together, and then we can shoot some emails around. Make sure we get something together. But I think if we tentatively say May 20th, that'd be a good start.
Yeah.
And then see what we can get together. Doesn't have to be like an all-out bonanza for the first time we do it in 15 years, right? But we could make it something that'd be cool.
So, as far as spending money on things, how does that work? Do you just save receipts or?
So I'll have to check with David. I don't want to tell you the wrong information. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's probably that way, but I honestly don't know. Usually everything we do is recommend the board approve money, but this is already approved as part of the budget, so.
Right.
I'll get with David and find that out. I'll send you guys an email.
Okay. Because as long as it's easy enough to just, pay for it, get reimbursed.
Yeah. Like I said, and I think people would end up donating. I think if we go to we should go figure out how to get Dairy Twist to bring some ice cream.
I'm the food guy, right?
That would be.
Food guy, Snyder.
That would definitely get some people out.
Saucer.
Ice cream. They could sell it too for all I care. They'd get way more people. Half price ice cream.
Well, unless somebody has a special relationship with them, I can approach the bait shop if you
Yeah.
make a brochure with, I can just ask them. I think they've been involved with it before.
I say just say, listen, we're
What do you
thinking
guys
about
do
doing this
before?
safety and education thing.
Yeah,
We'd like to have you involved. Any ideas, willing to contribute?
there you go.
Start like that.
You bet.
Okay. Anything else on this? Let's get your thing posted.
Okay.
We'll try and start thinking about activities, and let's just shoot some emails around at least to start, and then we'll talk about it again next month. We'll have to talk about it every month until May.
Right. Okay. Do you think just putting something out now and then again?
I would put it out now and make sure we get, because the earlier we get people thinking about it and
Right.
willing to volunteer,
The better.
because
Okay.
getting 6 other people to try and just do one thing is going to make it a lot easier, right?
Right, absolutely.
And I'm sure I could get some people that I know on the lake to do something, so I'll reach out to a couple people as well.
Okay.
All right.
Can we go now?
You can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to stick around.
We're having a private meeting, but this has been wonderful to watch all of you being so efficient and so caring about.
Cool, thank you.
Really.
We're all volunteers.
You
Yeah.
can catch us on TV too.
If you want to see it again, it's on file.
Yeah.
You will watch it again.
All right,
We will.
For the reruns, they've got those too.
thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so we good on safety stuff. It's going to be a bigger thing than we're thinking at this moment in time, but I think it'll be worthwhile if we have 3 months to figure it out, so.
You can do this.
Okay. All right. Next up, continuing business, plant control invasive species. I don't have anything to talk about there. Anybody have anything to talk about?
We'll talk to Paul about it next month.
Okay. Harvester discussion. I don't think it's not in, it doesn't go in, doesn't start till June. The only thing we got to figure about is making sure we've got operators.
Yeah, I can call David tomorrow.
Yep. And then seeing if they're willing to do something for education on it. I think I'd like to have a walk around of the Harvester. I don't know what they're willing to do and not do, but I don't know. I think it's a cool machine. Lakeshore maintenance, erosion, cleanup, debris removal. We could probably, like I said, while the lake's down, just try and get a note out to people before we bring the lake up. Just say, go get your leaves. I mean, I get them up by my property every time because it's way easier than doing it in the spring when the water's up. So things are melted. It's 50s. It's kind of nice out. Tell them to go get the leaves.
Tomorrow, we're supposed to get snow and ice.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No way.
Then it goes back up.
Yeah. It's we're supposed to get like a
Get out of here.
1/10 of an inch of ice.
10th of an inch.
I figured it was over, man.
It's good, no, it's gonna be 50 the following, like, it's going down to like 32, and then right back up to 50 the next day.
Yeah.
Hopefully for snow day tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I don't want to snow
It'll
day.
be like
I need
we
my
live in
kid to go to
Texas.
school.
We've only had one.
Yeah. And the snow day that Wall Lake had was like they called off school the night before the snow even came.
Yeah.
Friday.
'Cause it was
right
such a-
before our Christmas break, so I got
Of
extra
course.
day.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's what
That's
it
the day I fished.
Okay. So the only thing I'll do there, I'll throw something I'll throw something maybe on Facebook, just say go clean up your leaves while the lake is down because we're bringing it back up. Lake enforcement issues. I don't think we have anything there right now. There's no traffic.
No.
Water management board goals and objectives. I'll wait. I think we're pretty well divvied up there, but as we're adding new members, we'll kind of go back through that and re-divvy it up. I think probably next month when you're on. Generally, we have I have a list of just stuff that, like, he has the harvester, he has safety, like where we try and divvy stuff up and think about what
He's
people are
hot
interested in.
Hot dog.
Yeah, he's on hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention.
But we'll revisit that since we got some new members and then try and divvy stuff up.
Yeah.
Everybody you don't have to be an expert in a given area, but if there's areas that you're interested in, it's easier to have some delegated responsibilities. All right, website content. Dun, dun, dun. This is the big one for me.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that email that I sent with the website links?
Those were neat.
For some reason, I was having trouble getting into my email.
I have it.
Can you get it up there? I think it'd be good if we could talk about it. So, background as we go through this. So, again, I talked to Progressive, right? So, we had some quotes on this interactive map thing that I was trying to do. And
Oh yeah, this. Yeah, I looked at those maps.
so go to the second link. Okay. So we had discussions on it, and I thought this was pretty close to what I was asking for, or what I was thinking. I met with Progressive. They said that they basically just use this software. They have the same software, so it would be linked out of our site. It's not embedded in Wolverine Lake's website, but it would give you this kind of map where we can mark off parks, depth map. Let me just see what all the stuff that was buried in there. Hold on.
Trails, I think.
Lake inlets and outlets, water flow direction, no wake zones, depth chart, permanent fishing location, parcel boundaries, and they said they could add parks. We can add content. You need to be able to do a shapefile, which I think we can do, but they also gave some quotes associated with updating and maintenance on the cost to update and maintain it. So the quote that they gave us to build it, the total was $88,460, and it would give access. Everybody would have access to it. we'd be able to do this thing that we keep talking about, like a QR code, like instead of saying no fishing, showing people where you're allowed to fish. You get to put whatever layers you want on there. We'll be able to specify it. They would update and map stuff at an hourly rate. So we'd say, okay, X amount of we want to give you another 10 hours and provide these updates. So it would be I wanted to have the ability for the village to update and maintain it without actually paying on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like there's any readily accessible things that can be embedded into the website that then lets you just have it. So this is through like ArcGIS or GIS, I don't know how
ArcGIS.
GIS, but is it pronounced GIS?
ArcGIS, yeah.
ArcGIS. So this is a standard piece of software, right? That they have an account through already. They have somebody that they brought on the staff it seems like a new person on the staff that thought they would just be able to take this on and get it done. So you come up with something like this with the layers on it, again, depth maps, the types of things that we asked them to do. They said they'd be able to give us a kind of a development look at it. Now, when I talked to them, it was in the beginning of winter, right? And I intended to talk to everybody about this in November, and then I missed that meeting, and then we had no meetings for 2 more months. So here we are in February. The intent was that we could get them on board, and then they could kind of build this thing up, and then we could have it live before spring. That probably wouldn't be feasible anymore timing-wise, but I think the quote they gave us is still fine. So what's the thing? So there's $8,480 is the cost. That would cover the data collection, which of course, if we could provide them data, it's less, right?
Yeah.
Making the actual map, and then there's updating maps and maintenance not to exceed. They've got money in there for 40 hours of maintenance and updates. So we could adjust that, probably say, oh, we don't want to pay for the updates this calendar year because of budget and whatever, but long story short, the quoted price is $8,460. When we put money in, we just threw $3,000 in there. I had no idea how expensive it was going to be, right? Mm-hmm. So we had $3,000 in our budget for the website, but for projects altogether, we had $7,500, and the way that was spread up was saying we were going to do an actual fish count, which I don't know what that was. We threw $1,500 in there. The safety festival, we said $1,000, which we didn't use, but I don't think we want to dive into that because I think we want to do that. Clean boats, clean water, which we know we're not going to do, which is $2,000 on the website. Yeah. So I'd argue between fish count, website, clean boats, clean water, right, we've got $6,500 that we could throw towards this and leave $1,000 for the safety festival. And I think we could rally support from other boards, or council can go find the other $1,000 or something, right? Because if we add things for Parks and Rec, we add more data to it, we could probably dive into some of the project, because it's not a water management board thing, it's going to be a village thing. We'll be able to use it for a bunch of stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of the story. I guess, I don't know what you guys are thinking, if you think it's worth going after. What I think we would end up doing is, we'd have to ask council to find the rest of the money. We'd say, hey, we're willing to throw this much in the budget at it, we think it's worthwhile, negotiate the contract to a lower price, remove some of the maintenance, or find more money.
Well, the council seemed receptive, if not excited.
Yeah, I
about
think
the prospect of that being a tool that can be used, like you said, not just with us or them, but the other committees. I mean,
and I think if we wanted to do it, we probably just, especially since we don't have the council liaison here today, we probably would want to go to council and say, look, this is what it is. Get it up on the board somehow. Show them what it is. But it would basically, now, I don't even know what the fiscal years are. I can't remember when the budgets are due. We'll probably get more money at some point soon here. But I would say we don't want to get into the safety festival money, because I think that's going to be a good thing for us to do. We could probably ditch the fish count. We could get the, we know we're not doing clean boats, clean water. We could get $6,500 there for this.
Yeah.
What's the timeline for this? There's a lot of free GIS maps online. So I can look before we commit to anything to see if we can get the price down. but those are like widely available.
Yeah,
So
it's
just searching for them. So I get
Yep.
why they put that in the quote.
Yep, so the, did you look, you have the quote open?
No.
So the data collection, the way they quoted it was the data collection was 30 hours, but again, they're charging a premium, right?
30 hours.
Then create the interactive map in ArcGIS Online, which they said would take, 24 hours, and then updating from there. So, I looked around, it looks like you just need licenses and stuff to do it.
I don't think this takes that long.
I can
I've done
tell you,
GIS stuff. This doesn't take that long.
I've done some website stuff, and I feel like if I actually certainly if I spent the number of hours, 84 hours that they're quoting here, if I took 2 weeks of my life to code it, I guarantee I can make this for less than $8,000. But
Yeah.
I don't have 80 hours to spend on it. So
Yeah, I think I could probably learn this and do it in 8 hours.
yeah, I know, but I don't have the.
No, I agree. I get it.
I would love to get one that's embedded into the website, as opposed to an external link. So I'll kind of leave it like that. We could figure out, I would say, we either want to make a recommendation to council to go after it, and tell them how much money we are willing to put towards it, and tell them to go find the rest of the money. Wait another month, and you guys can go learn how to code and figure out how we do it on the website, or drop it altogether, which I really don't want to do. So.
Well, this
So,
project's moved along really well, I
this-
think.
For this, I know like this has like different things like the golf course and things like that. Like, would it show like it would have like links like this has for like the parks and.
Yep.
And I guess this little brief description.
Yeah, I think we could set up another call with them. So what I did is I did just a Teams call with them, and they had like their 3 or 4 employees there, and I kind of walked through what I thought was the proposal, which I wrote up, and then they came back with this write-up, and I said, can you send me some examples? And they sent me those 2 examples. So I didn't go back with them and deep dive this example and say, I like this, I don't like that, we should do this, we shouldn't do that. But we could probably set that up as well. I'm sure Paul would be willing. The one thing I'll say for sure is that last year, when we approached them for this, they said they were interested, and then they didn't, then they no-quoted it. Because they got super busy doing lake treatments and all the spring came, right? It's just, in this instance, they added somebody new that they thought had bandwidth to do it, so they gave me a quote. So I would say we'd want to act sooner than later with spring coming, and it's unfortunate that I sat on it for 3 months while we didn't have meetings here.
So make a decision by next month.
I think we can't wait more than 1 month.
But I guess the concern would also be if we wait a month.
Maybe they can't do it, I don't know.
Well, not only that, are we, when does if we had to ask them board for more money, they meet the second Wednesday?
So the way we set it up, so we used to go before them, and then our requests never got to them because it took too long for everything to process. So we set it up now where they will meet after this, so their next month's meeting is what, I think they meet on the second week? The second week? So they wouldn't get it approved until April.
Because we would meet
We would meet
March 15th, and then they would approve it April 12th. And then, once approval happens,
Then it would start this process of
then
probably
we
doing
can
some
just
iterations.
start right away, without
As
having
long
to
as
meet
Progressive,
again.
as long as Progressive still can. And
Right.
Progressive is actually going to be here next week,
Okay.
or next month.
Okay.
Paul said he's going to be here, I think. So we can talk with him live about it if we wanted to, again, next week.
Okay.
I can ask him if he wants to bring somebody or if he can talk to it, but I am okay waiting 1 more month if we want to wait 1 more month, because we've waited 12 already.
Right.
But I guess I'm looking for you two then to come back with some updated information.
If you guys think that you could develop it, if you just had the time, and that's something like we do this all the time, hire a college kid.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, I originally had said
There's
there.
classes at Michigan that do
Yeah,
all GIS.
right.
I was gonna say, I
$1,000 and.
Yeah, I originally had, there's a bunch of websites where you could just go on and find, say,
Hire.
here's the job,
Oh, yeah.
I want to hire it, and it goes to somebody outside, and they can quote it, whatever they want, right? You could just offer this type of stuff up. You could potentially get things for cheaper. I brought that up to David previously. He was like, let's see if we can do it local. So we put an RFP out in this area. We got one person who replied to it, 2 people no-quoted it. I followed up with the person who replied to it 3 times, never heard back from them. So then the local thing died, and then in conversations with Progressive, who we already have a relationship with, who we already know does a good job in general, responsive, they show up, they said we might be interested in doing it. So that's how I started down the path with going with Progressive, just because this is not their wheelhouse. They don't do this normally. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's other avenues in which you could find it for cheaper or get something more custom or something. I haven't been able to put the effort in to find that, and then this proposal was on the board. I would love to find, the other thing is the website, the Wolverine Lake website. It was built from like, a typical website building program. I don't know that we have a lot of people that are going to be able to maintain something if it's embedded, and we want to, I originally wanted to say, like, I want to be able to type in Excel, if I was custom making it, I want to be able to give you GPS points in an Excel sheet, and I provide it, and it just gets read into a database, or go in and add a database, and a new line shows up. I mean, it would be nice to have it dynamic and fully customizable with no maintenance. But,
My next door neighbor, he's the chief information officer of a large corporation here. I'll throw it out to him. I've got the link, I'll send it to him, see if he has any ideas.
Yeah. Okay, so so I'm going to say this is now off my plate and on all of our plates, and next month we make a decision. And then if it doesn't get done next month, we're not going to talk about it anymore.
No.
And I actually just reached out to someone that I know that does programming just
Okay.
now, so.
Okay, so if we want to get, if you're working things in the background, right, we can loop David in, he can ask for quotes and officially correspondence from the village and all this stuff. You can reach out to whoever you want, but I think we would want to get like some kind of formalized quote for the village through David, but do all the grunt work yourself, and then we can get David in the loop.
So if we got a formalized quote, we just forward it to him, to David.
Yeah, or like I said, you could just loop him in. If you feel like you're onto the trail of something,
Okay.
he knows what we're trying to do. I've ran
Okay.
this past him a couple of times. I brought it up to council previously, so people know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, next month, let's see what you guys bring. All right. All right, future business items, open discussion. Open discussion, anybody?
No?
I'm still
Surfing
new.
Reddit? You guys good?
Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot on the plate here between the safety thing and the
Oh, yeah, we're making moves in the new year.
Yeah.
All right, liaison, village, nobody. Did he come to the last meeting, November, the liaison?
No, I don't think so.
Planning commission.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, he did.
I did,
thought
yes,
It was
he did.
actually
Yes,
just
he
the three
did.
of us that missed,
Yeah.
actually. I'm looking at the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he said that he failed to win the election.
Yep,
I'm afraid there wasn't a planning commission meeting
not for the last 3 months.
after the last 3 months. I know.
Biggest slackers in the village, the planning
You
commission.
know, we make sure we make our 3 meetings a year.
Hey,
We get our qualifications.
I'm just happy, I'm really happy we took December and January off. I
Yeah.
think that's the way to move forward. We technically only need to have like the 3 or 4 meetings a month.
Yeah. To keep
A year,
the
yeah.
board alive, yeah.
All right. Comments from the board members? All right. Adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Look at that. 1 hour.